Dare to dream, dare to excel, dare to be flamboyant. Panseke Radio. Be flamboyant.
To have you back on TMI. This marriage issue, I like to call it TMI. I am Olufisayomi. This is Panseke Radio, and on TMI we explore several things. Practically try to explore as many things as we can, which we think to be related to being married, staying married, getting married, coping with life after marriage. Everything around marriage and the relationship and the institution. So welcome. Mandy is back. Hello, Mandy.
Hey, hi.
It's good to have you back on TMI. Have you been?
Good. I was looking forward to today, but also with a little bit of trepidation.
Oh, yes, because today we're going deep into this, should I call it a phenomenon that happens, that has to happen when two people become one, to a certain degree, you know, on a positive,
yes.
Looking at it from a positive perspective. Death to self.
Dum 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 dum.
Drum roll. Death to self. Do you know, I have my perspective, but I want to hear yours, because being married myself, that has been a very deep issue for me, an eye-opener. The number of things that I have had to let go, parts of me that I've had to practically shave off in order to accommodate this new adventure that I'm on. What's it been like for you, Mandy?
It's interesting because I feel like God intentionally gave me a glimpse of this before I got married, and I keep saying that if I'm going to write a book about marriage, and sometimes I've thought about it. Apparently, after 3 months of marriage, I thought, oh my God, this is like, I mean, everybody that was married for 3 years, I was like, my God, you must be a genius. Because 3 months of being married, my brain I felt like I knew so much stuff. Like, it was just like, wow, is this what people, my God, this is amazing. It's crazy. It's like, what? So, but anyway, if I was going to write the title of book, a marriage book, is going to be Marriage, the Journey to Death. That's one. Marriage, the Scam.
Yeah.
It was Marriage, the Scam,
the propaganda. Oh gosh.
The Journey to Death. Dum 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 dum.
Oh gosh.
Now I know that the concept of death to self or dying to self. I think if you're in the Christian faith, you may have heard of it. Mm-hmm. But what I feel is that marriage sort of like pushes you into real time and not just the concept of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
the theory of it.
Yeah. It pushes you right into the practicals. Like, you've got to either live it or, you know, just be honest about who you are and what you want to do and what's important for you in your life, you know. Mm. And I think it's such a beautiful thing, because I know that our desires in our faith, even if it's subconscious or just like even far away, but it's like, you know, maybe when we first became Christians, because, you know, some people have modified their views of what it is, but one of the things is to be Christ-like, to be like Jesus. And what does that mean? What does that idea, what does that concept mean, being like Jesus? And this is it. Death to self, the journey to Jesus. Marriage, the journey to Jesus. Can single people go on this journey? Yes, they can. But it's just in a different concept, and some people don't need to get into marriage to get to this Jesus point, because they have awesomely pushed themselves into doing what God has asked them to do. But for the sake of marriage, if you value it, then for it to work, you will need to die. So let me explain how I got to this, how my first experience. So we're dating, and no. By this time, I think he's proposed or whatever. I know I'm going to marry this guy. I know this is the guy or something like that. And something happens to my phone, or I don't know if he's proposed or I know he's going to. I just know this is the dude. At this point, I know this is the dude. So he's supposed to do something with my phone, and I go to it. We agree. I'm going to your office at this time. I'm going to park in the place that, I'm not only going to be there a few minutes before they drive me away. Because if I park at the other place, you won't know where I park, this one, that one, that one. So please, you're going to meet me at this particular time. He says, oh, sure. I'm going to be there at this particular time. And it's like, my phone's not working. My phone's not working. So don't forget this, that, this, that. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. At that time, I get to the location and I'm waiting, which I didn't want to do. But I'm waiting, do wahala. And I'm there for like 20 minutes before the guard guy comes to come and shoo me away. So I tell the guard, oh my gosh, my phone's not working. I can't call him. Say, but can't you call the person? I said, please, can I just use your phone for a second? Even if I can just flash it. I call his line. It's ringing out. I think I call his office line. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I don't know if you can help me call the department. So now. And in the end, I get shooed away to some other parking lot area. So I'm a bit, I don't know what's going to happen because the scenario is like 45 minutes. I'm now in some new parking lot. I see some security guard who knows me and he's like, how are you, madam? Let me call him. He calls his line. His office line is ringing. I give him the phone number. His friend sees me. His friend calls. His friend goes to his office, and at this point in time, I'm like spewing and seething and just, he just walks over and he's like, oh my gosh. So the friend, because I couldn't find him, finds him, I think, in the canteen.
Oh my days.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I forgot, or I came out, I saw the car, I saw you were there, then I came out again later, and it's like, you're gone. And it's just like 10 minutes, which we know that was a modified answer.
10 minutes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I didn't say that. Audience, she said it. I didn't say it. So and I'm livid. I'm like, I'm still like totally upset. Like, you don't even like. So when I get upset, it's like it's only funny that can solve my problem. It just comes out. It's natural. I don't even think about it. It's what I've been told. So I'm just like, even under. I can't even talk to like and I was so upset and what it is, I think, when women are upset is they just want to hear sort of a profused apology. They want to see that the person is really sorry, not just like
contrition. Gosh, trying to be fake about it, and she can smell it, and you're dead.
Sorry, and like wrap this up. You know what I mean? And dude was like, okay, fine, and I was like,
oh,
what?
No, not fine.
She was like, even worse because
good.
He's angry on top of my anger. Now, one of the things they teach you is that when somebody's upset, deal with their upsetness. Don't bring your own in. You know what I mean? Like, whoever the person is, like, just deal with the issue. Don't bring, how could you be upset? Just deal with what they were upset about. Accept it to get upset one day. My dear, he put upset on top of my upset. I was not. It's like, okay, fine. And it's like, okay, talk to you later. Bye. Okay.
Wow.
Charge somebody. So, of course, being in the digital age, I don't know why I wasn't a WhatsApp message. I don't know why I went the email route, but I sent him an email. I sent him an email explaining why, like, dude, like you just don't even understand. You just don't even. So I sent one long email. Now, unfortunately, I made the biggest mistake. And right after that email, I listened to, I don't know if you know Andrew Womack. He's a minister. He has like he has many messages online, and he has a fantastic series on marriage. And I don't know what series I was listening to. It could have been about, it could have been about pride or forgiveness or I don't even know what it was. But as soon as I heard the first words, I knew that somehow I was wrong. And because you're not supposed to be angry, you're supposed to forgive people. So okay, I knew. Okay, so immediately I didn't even want to listen to the message yet, because I'm one of those people, as soon as I know I'm wrong, I want to deal with it. I want to knock it out, because I want to get rid of the bad feelings. Like, let me apologize, let me do what needs to be done. Again, I sent another email. I was like, you know what, I'm sorry, I was a bit upset, it's okay, just sometimes I just, but I'm sad, but I wish, but I'm sorry, Anyway, I sent an email. The second mistake I did was now listen to the entire message. The entire message explained that in Christ, we no longer exist. That whole death, that dying, we died in Christ, the whole baptism thing and everything, is that you are dead. The only person alive is Christ in you. So anytime anybody is coming out that doesn't look like Jesus, that is you not willing to die. So death means death. And so if you are dead, why must somebody work according to your time or your plans? I know that I'm not explaining this as well as that message was, but I was ruined. Because basically said, that you are sort of like fighting for self, like fighting for things to be your way. It must be your time. It must be according to when you wanted it, according to must be, and all of that. Now, even just in hindsight, Chidi could have had some issue with his boss. Anything could have happened. Do you understand? And the reality was, come on, he had to do something. He works in an office. It's not my time he's working on. They are the ones paying him salary. Do you understand? I mean, thinking about all of these things, but this is not what Andrew Womack was talking about. He was just saying, my sister, in totality. Do you understand? That one of the things he said is that when you correct somebody, or like all of those things, I don't even know how to explain what I want to say. He said, when you're telling somebody something in terms of correction, you only tell them things they don't know. If they know something, when you're telling them, you're just trying to prove a point, or you're just trying to prove that you're wrong, or you're just trying to show I know. Do you understand what I mean? If they know something, then you understand that that's the issue they're working with. One of them is that my beloved have time challenge. Do you understand? My beloved has time challenge. Why am I, now that I will know, why would I sort of like want to create a fight because he's late? Do you understand? If I know, again, this example of somebody without a leg, or somebody on a wheelchair, or somebody that doesn't have sight. If you're walking with somebody that is missing a leg and you feel the need to run, you will not say, I'm going to run. Do you understand? Let's run. You will not say, let's run. Or you may say, sweetie, I'd like to run for a bit, but just hold on for me. I'll be right back. Do you understand? You accommodate them even with your speech. So if you know that somebody has a handicap, i.e. time challenge, time concept understanding, or planning or whatever, then you accommodate them. Sometimes you will accommodate with them by moving the hour early. You understand? Or eating certain things, or just forgiving the year before it happened, because it's gonna happen. So why now do like you didn't know, or like why do you care?
Making it an issue.
Understand? Why is this enough to bring your collapse of your life? You understand? now so imagine that. Okay, so I've said all of this, and there's, I feel like there's greater understanding even as I'm saying it. It's not paining me as it pained me that day, but I tell you, it was even more painful. So when Andrew Womack is saying all of this, that is Mandy, you are the wrong person here. Do you understand? Yes, Chidi is wrong in his own way, but that is not who God is talking to. As in, you are you. You don't know what God is saying on the other side. You just have to deal with what you are supposed to do.
And this is an integral part of being together in a marriage, being able to be responsible in your private space, which is what you're doing. You're working on yourself because you're the other half of this marriage.
This is the upgraded level. Like, do your due diligence before your Lord. Make peace and amends as best as you can. The Bible talks about being peace with people at all times. Now, let me even explain. So after I made the mistake of listening to this full message, and I was wounded, blood was everywhere. Do you understand? I was mashed up, they matched me down. So I now send another email. It's like, babe, like, I'm really, really sorry, like, you don't have to do things, the way I want, it doesn't have to, I just tried to capture it. And you know what? That guy did not reply the first mail, the second mail. And when he replied the third, it was like, okay, fine. Okay, fine.
Oh, dear God. Oh, my gosh.
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
That's the red button. He just sat on it. He sat on the red button.
He was not like, if God is talking to him, he's not answering him. And you know what? That is none of my business. My business is to just do my own. So if somebody is really offended with me, then I need to make amends, be at peace with the person, and it's like, and he's giving me cold shoulders, like, my sister, I burst into tears. I was offended, upset, and I knew I was going to marry this guy. Like, I knew this was the guy I've been dreaming of. Do you understand the conflict of pain and emotions? This is the best guy for me. Look at him now. Do you understand? Like, I said sorry for something he's done.
And he can't even meet me on this empathy level. He can't. He's just like, oh dear God.
And this dude is awesome, but this dude is this dude. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
He's like, I love him, yes, but this is not. Do you understand? Like, and so
you had a dress rehearsal for the reality.
My God, and when I say dress rehearsal, this is not the whole of my marriage, obviously, but what it was that I actually was crying, and I understood this was it. As in, I was mourning the death of myself, because I knew that if I get into this was not going to be the only time where I would be the only one at a particular time, sort of like giving up self of my right.
I think that happens to every deep thinking man or woman, because at some point you just say to yourself, oh my days, I love this person, but as you said, this is this person, and this is the person I'm walking this journey with. So you're like, oh wow, that moment.
Yes, and my husband has his own experiences for that. He may not be able to articulate it, but surely I'm not the cream of the I'm not the sweetest.
I know. We're not. None of us are.
Get me, like, shoot, it's not this, you're not the sweetest flower, sweetest cup. So every day you're not smelling roses, it's just not, and so a man might not be able to articulate this way, or my husband might not be able to articulate this way, but there's some depth going on.
Oh yes.
So in marriage, it's these kinds of experiences. For example, I share with friends that, part of it is that, okay, for instance, in your normal life, your previous life, if you have a quarrel, let's say me and you, we have a quarrel, and I know I'm a Christian or whatever, so do you understand? It's like, we've had a quarrel, it's like, okay, fine, sorry, you know what, I'm sorry, I didn't get it, but I'm sorry, that kind of thing. Yeah. That was the offender or the offendee or whatever. Both of us may actually decide not to talk to each other for like 3 weeks or whatever. Then we see each other at a party, and then we're like, hey, how you doing now? Just we'll get in our heart, that fuzzy feeling again, and then we're hanging out every day before. In marriage, you have to figure, so for instance, you at the beginning you might be like, oh, I'm upset about something, or maybe somebody says like, why do you say something, but it's like, are you going to make food for that person or not? If you're the one that makes food in the house, have you really accepted the person's apology? Do you understand? And really, in Christ, there's nothing about accepting apology. I don't know if you've heard anything about it. There's nothing about when somebody apologizes, accepted. There's no concept of that.
Like it's your entitlement.
Whether they offend you or they don't offend you, you're supposed to forgive ahead of time.
Already.
Why?
Default setting.
Jesus has done the greatest forgiveness. That story of the one who was forgiven much and the one who refused to forgive little. You understand? This is the little they're talking about. So it doesn't really matter whether no, they've even said sorry. Because sometimes you'll tell somebody something and they'll be like, no, I don't agree, that's an issue. No, I don't see any reason to say sorry. Do you understand? Like, I don't, and So, are you going to forgive? You'll be like, yeah, sure, I forgive. I'm the believer. Why won't I forgive? Okay, but at night when they reach out for you, do you bring
the best cherry to the table?
Do you understand? Yeah, do you bring the best cherry to the table? Nice one, Desire. Are you going to bring the best chair to the table? Are you even going to let them sit down? If you understand what I mean.
TMI will be right back. Why be ordinary when you can be flamboyant? Panseke Radio. Be flamboyant.
So do you understand? So, my sister, these are so it's that facing that reality of, have I truly forgiven? And why? That kind of, why does one need to forgive beforehand? Shouldn't the person say sorry? All those human self concepts. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Helps you if you funnel it through God. Marriage helps you drop each one. Where when they even do you something, be like, my dear woman, this marriage cannot end. It's me and you together. If I say, I'll be upset. I'll be listening. I love my friend. I love you. Yes. Do your active listening. If you like me, I love you. I love is. Do you understand? Love is like you agree that you're going to chew that chicken, the hard chicken, till it's down. Like you should. This chicken will not come me. Do you understand? Like I'm going there with it. You see, no matter how hard this chicken is, me and you are going to. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now see, that's all well and nicely tied in a lovely bow. Okay, but for the sake of the other side of the argument, where's the line between enabling a bad habit, something that could eventually pull up the roots of the love, and then dying to self? Because sometimes if you just keep forgiving everything and not working through some of the kinks that need to be worked through, you just forgive everything.
Okay, so this is the deal. Again, when somebody doesn't know something, share it with them. So this is the reality is whether you're able to is a different thing. So obviously I don't only share when he doesn't know something, but that's what I should do. But yes, sometimes it's just like, you know what, babe, it's like, but that is because before something else is not right. Do you understand? When I'm in this, then when I call the zone is when I've been spending time with God, when I'm seeing God's mindset. My concern is for Chidi. So when I speak, I'm speaking because I care about him, not because I'm trying to
find fault.
Show something. If he knows this is, do you understand? So you do your best. You create the environment. You help. You share as best as you can. But there's no point in repeating something over and over. You have only one leg. You have only one leg. You're not running fast. You have only one leg. You're not running fast.
Let's leave the man with the one leg alone.
One leg, because people don't want to accept that people have one leg. It's one leg. Do you understand? But it doesn't mean that the person cannot do many things. I have an amazing friend with one leg who does more things than the people with two legs. So my point is that one of the things, again, is that don't let that one issue cloud so many things that are great things about a person. Because again, sometimes the issue is such a small thing. It's so painful to me when something just happens and I just know, oh my God, this is Satan. And I'm like, babe, nothing has happened though. I'm telling you, you love me, I love you. There is no issue. This thing that is not a thing. Don't be upset, It's nothing. Listen, Satan don't want to say Gary, Sansan in the Gary, but there's nothing here. You understand? Right. And it's not. So sometimes we're focusing on like And then there's this concept of like, if I don't tell him the 378th time, then he'll never know. But it's like, girl, if you didn't get it on 376, then it's not with words. Take your problem to the problem solver. God's expectation is that we depend on him, not on our own voice, not even on our own actions. Do you understand? Unless he guides us, unless he tells you do this, do that. Whether it's with a scripture, whether it's whatever, but at least be led by the Spirit, not by your own emotions, not by fear or by anxiety. If you are afraid and if you're anxious, you need to drop it, because those are commands that are put out there. And if you're moved by those things, if those are the things that are moving you, pause. Get your feelings under control, because that anxiety or fear is a lie. Do you understand? It's faith in the negative. Do you understand? And God wants you to believe in what he has said. And so what I do is that by the time I talk 3, because sometimes when I've talked number 78 is when I remember, I'm not even supposed to be talking. When I'll be like, you know what? Words are clearly not working. I take this to the Father. You are not the one. I remember one time. Okay, so I told friends, there's so many expectations women have in men because of the stories, the romance novels. Everybody loves some M&B and Harlequin. So the movies and everything. So there's so many expectations that when you're asking a guy some questions and he's just not answering the way you want, you can be all kinds of scared, vivid, afraid, this one and that one. But it just occurred to me that baby something, and I was just asking me, sir, he doesn't know. I said, you don't know. Then I said, you know what, sorry, don't worry about it. And in my mind is that you don't know, then it's not you I'm even supposed to be asking. If you don't know, then let me go and ask the Oga pata. Do you understand? Let me just talk to God about it. Because if he doesn't know, then God surely knows. And if God knows, he can bring it to us and let us know whichever way we need to do it. It's not an issue.
Then again, it's Mandy. Then again, it's this perspective is because of how in the know you are about the principles of Christianity, forgiveness and Jesus. And how about for people who are not as deep into it, or who do not even have any knowledge of it, or who do not even believe in these principles? How do they go about staying together?
I have no idea, I'm telling you, because the reality is, without an anchor in God, it is not easy, maybe possibly even possible, to be able to do these things without doing them in the wrong way. So for instance, you can just be like, I'm a doormat, I forgive, do me anyhow. Do you understand? It's not necessarily what I'm even saying. It's not the mindset I have. I do not feel this way about myself. Do you understand? Good. I feel good about myself. I feel whole about myself. I'm very clear about my husband. Like, I know who you are. We are both imperfect people. And maybe that's something to consider, is that we both have imperfections. But at least I have somebody I can talk about the imperfections to, that hears me and that orchestrates things to help each other.
So it's essential to have a very strong
relationship with God. Faith is critical. God is critical. How are you doing it? And if you are not being able, if you're struggling without him, then consider doing it with him. Because if your way isn't working, try God's way. Like, try the way people are saying is God's way. Like, just say, God, I don't really believe you are there, but people are saying you are there, so let me just, understand. I'm asking you, ABC, please show me. I need to know. And be mindful and see if he doesn't show up. That's all I'm asking. See if he doesn't show up. And if he shows up, then believe and move in, press in. Do you understand? Because he is more concerned about you and your marriage, you personally as a person. Do you understand? Your spouse and the concept of marriage more than anybody on this planet. And the concept of marriage, whether it is in the church or out of the church, is very important to God. It's a precious thing because it speaks of him. And if we get this right, then we save generations and children and our future and our families. Everybody benefits. Isn't it just nice when things are going well in somebody's? It just feels good. I mean, somebody can break up in Hollywood, Hollywood, that way, people are doing all sorts of things, and it hurts. It hurts,
like why did they break up?
There's something about that breaks something in us. It's just not good. It's speaking of something, and it's contrary to what we know to be what is good.
I hear you. Now this death to self. I would also want to argue on the side of, on the other side, that it is when a person is well rounded enough and they don't have baggage from maybe childhood, from past experience, that they're able to be comfortable enough with their egos and themselves. Because when an ego, from what I have experienced and from watching and listening to others, when an ego is bruised, the first impulse is to protect it, so that when, say for instance, when in childhood, I never got heard, nobody listened to me, I couldn't really express myself, and now I'm in this marriage, and it seems as though I'm in this marriage with somebody who's got a stronger personality and they're not listening to me. That's going to be a challenge. I'm going to want to be heard, because I'm going to say to myself, no, there's no way that in this marriage as well I cannot speak my mind, so that's going to be a challenge.
Death to self does not mean do not speak.
I use that as an example.
No, and okay, so let me just sort of like use this example. But death to self means that what it is in your heart that you want to do, that might be contrary to what God wants you to do, don't do it. That's it. It's in singleness, it's inside marriage, it's everywhere. It's not a marriage issue.
That's what I'm saying. It's easier to do, not impossible. It's easier to do when you're balanced mentally and emotionally.
But I'm sure everything is easier to do. But what I was gonna say is everybody has baggage. One, everybody. Two, it's the only reason why you will. Okay, so the example you use, and I like the example you use, because sometimes it's like, okay, but what if you're already sort of like a wallflower? What if you're already sort of like a doormat? God may be asking you to speak. God may be asking you to say the tough things. That may be the death to the self that you are dying.
Right.
You understand? God may be asking you to do the tough things. That is the death. The death is, I want to, the life, the self is saying, well, I'm a moo, but I'm a this, but God is saying you are not a and you need to say this. Do you understand? Or else this is not going to work. This ship is going down. Do you understand? You must say this thing. You must push through the fear of saying what needs to be said and say it. Do you understand? The issue is, what is he asking you to do? Do that. That is it. Whether it's male or female. Do you understand? That is the death, that you are no longer just functioning as, I'd say like it is, I do it like it is, I do it the way I want to. You're not saying, God, okay, this is this current situation. What's the plan? Because if you check it, I've asked friends, I said, have you noticed all these things that you've been telling your husband, all these things you've been telling your husband, have you noticed that the times you don't tell him, or there's certain things that are like, maybe that get on your nerves.
A given, yeah.
That you don't tell him that it works out. It works out the way you want to. Have you noticed? My friend said, yeah, I hear you, Mandy, I've seen it live. Do you understand? But sometimes, you just can't help. You just want to talk. You just want to say. And it's not, she is not lying. Myself. Sometimes you just.
So how about when you're in this relationship with the other half who isn't quite at that point in life when they're ready to die to self?
Okay. So the reality is that people are not necessarily dying to self at the same time. Mm-hmm. For instance, I said my sorry when she did me something wrong. Lord, I've let it go. I still let it go, but I said sorry, and he's not even accepting it. Meanwhile, sort of like he's the one that did something. That concept. So what do? You that's what you're asking me, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reality is that we're all in that space. There'll be things that you are the one that's not answering the person. Do you understand? And you feel you're in the right, or you feel, do you get me? Your brain is not there yet. You, goodness, I'm not Jesus. I'm sure if I was Jesus, I would be in heaven, if that makes sense. The journey is to become Jesus. We are all on this journey. Some days I will be steps ahead. Some days I'll be steps behind. Some days it will be because it's that time of the month, maybe, or maybe I just want to use that as an excuse, maybe. Because I just have to spend time with God and I just don't feel like it, and I just want to sleep and just want to suck my thumb and just lay in bed. It's like the reality is that when you get married, or before you get married, you make a choice, and you make a choice and you make it with your eyes open. Nobody closed your eyes. Nobody forced you. Nobody did get gunshot wedding. And even if they did, you could have let them shoot you. Do you get me? But no, you chose to marry this person. Whether this person is spiritual firebrand or JJC, you made that choice. And you made it knowing certain things. And even if it was just those certain things, those are challenges. All those things, the things that a lot of people love when they meet the person. But in marriage, you're just like, please, like, it's not even funny anymore. Like, please, I've heard that joke like a million times. Like, just
can't take it right now.
Something. How about you don't even tell a joke? How about you do that?
How about that?
And but you made that choice.
Yep.
And one of the things they tell you in counseling is, for the sake of marriage, not for the sake of yourself, not for the sake of the other person, but for the sake of this marriage. And when you look at what God sees as marriage, or what it means to him, then you understand that it's such a valuable, precious thing. And so for the sake of marriage, you do certain things. And the only way you're going to make these dying to self choices, if you will value the marriage. You value that marriage over yourself, over your spouse. And so you're not just doing things for him. You're not just doing things for yourself. You're doing things for the sake of the marriage, which may be against what both of you desire. So it's like the third thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so one of the things they say in counseling, they say, this concept of submission and choices and things. What do? They said one of the things is that when you have a decision and you both have different concepts, you understand, and sometimes you'll have a decision and he thinks this is it, and you're like, okay, let's just try it away. Or it's you that thinks it, and it's let's try it. Or there are times where it's like, no, it's this, and you're like, no, it's that. They say what you should do is you say, fine, you're the head of the household, and I know this is like the female, whatever, male female thing, but let's do it as you said. But they said, don't just say that, but in your heart or your mind be like,
let's do something else.
Okay, let's see now, it's going to fail, let us see. They said, no, don't just do that. You not just agree with your mouth, agree with your heart, and begin to pray that it will go as he has desired, in the way that he has desired. Don't just pray. Don't just be like, I'll show you that you don't even have sense. Do you understand? I'll show you that. Or let's do it your way and we'll see. Let's see if it makes sense. Like, it's not a competition to see who is smarter or who is right. You understand? The concept, let's get this thing to work. You understand? And if they choose that, if you have an idea and the person has a different idea, go with their idea for the sake of peace anyway. Do you understand? And even the fact that the biblically God has put them in the place of leadership, whether you feel they're a good leader or not, doesn't matter. This is the boss in the company.
You accepted to let them lead when you married them. So there you go.
It's like you want to work a shell. Who is the Oga there? That's the Oga. Is he short? Is he tall? Is he smart? Does he smell of cheese or curry? You don't know. And even if he does, and even if he's not smart, even if he's this, even if he's that, that's the Oga. And when you go to the office, you say, good evening, sir. Do you understand? You don't say, you don't really, you know what I mean? I get it.
I'm smarter than you are, but that's a beautiful analogy. We're going to have to leave it there, though, Mandy, because we're on the clock. I think that's a really good place to leave it. Thank you very much for joining me today again on this marriage issue, Mandy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we have to thank Chizaram for the ambient sounds. Thank you very much, darling. Chizaram is our princess. You would have been hearing her voice in the background. Okay, until the next one, thank you very much for listening and for sharing and for your comments and the emails. Thank you very much. They encourage us to keep going and they help us know that we are on the right path with this. Hoping that you will join us for the next one, same time next week. I'm Olufisayomi. If you want to send a message, send it in to contact@pansekeradio.com or go directly to the DM at Panseke Radio on Instagram. Until the next one, ciao.
I could never forget when we met the first time, and everybody wanted you. Said I can't have you to myself, and now you see me now, right now. Oh, I like it, I really like it. Oh, I need it, I really need it. Oh, I like it, I really like the way you take me. I don't let me fall. You should know by now. Not only you if you hold me down. You should know by now. Not only you if you hold me down. Oh, you're the only one that holds me down. Oh, all the way down, way down, way down. Oh, you're the only one that holds me down. Oh, all the way down, way down, way down. I wanna take my time with you. I hate it when you burn out. And now we're coming to the end. So let's enjoy this moment on a cloud. And now you see me now, right now. Oh, I like it, I really like it. Oh, I need it, I really need it. Oh, I like it, I really like the way you take me. I don't let me fall. You should know by now. You should know. Not only you if you hold me down. You should know by now. Not only you if you hold me down. Oh, you're the only one that holds me down. Oh, all the way down, way down, way down. Oh, you're the only one that holds me down. Oh, all the way down, way down, way down.
For the sake of marriage, if you value it, then for it to work, you will need to die. My sister, I burst into tears. I was offended, upset, and I knew I was going to marry this guy. Before you get married, you make a choice. And you make a choice and you make it with your eyes open.
Dare to dream. Dare to excel. Dare to be flamboyant. Panseke Radio. Be flamboyant.